Lord Ravencrest died long ago, but I will always revere him as my mentor. His loss was tragic for us all. We owe him everything. Even in death, he only wanted to protect our people. When the Ancient War began, we suffered countless losses. Our cities burned. Lord Ravencrest saved our people and rescued our world from annihilation.
You guys have seen Kur'talos Ravencrest at the end of Blackrook Hold just before we fight the actual boss, but who was he and how did he die? Kur'talos Ravencrest was pretty much the main face of the Night Elven Defenders during the War of the Ancients, at least up until the point of where he died. He was an admirable warrior, mentor to many, wise leader, and also the one who took Illidan Stormrage under his wing. Like many of the Night Elven people, Kur'talos disliked the Highborn, especially the Lord Counselor Xavius, and in addition to disliking them, he also did not trust them. However, this way of thinking did not carry over to Queen Azshara herself. Like pretty much 99% of the population, Kur'talos loved his queen. He refused to believe that she would ever bring any harm or wrongdoing upon her people. And so when the portal was opened, leading the Burning Legion to Azeroth and the demons began slaughtering the Night Elves and burning their homes, Ravencrest and many others believed that Azshara was being held captive and was being pretty much a prisoner of Xavius and the Burning Legion. Only Broxigar, Ronin, Crassus, Malfurion, and Illidan saw that was pretty much bullshit. However, they played along anyway since an invasion of Zin-Azshari was still an invasion of Zin-Azshari. Whether Kur'talos sought to rescue the queen or take out the demons, everyone would see the truth of everything if they managed to actually reach Zin-Azshari and make their way to Queen Azshara. It's at this point that the resistance begins to form. Ravencrest begins sending out messengers to bolster his army as they march from Blackrook Hold to Zin-Azshari. Now, it should be noted that Ravencrest is very level-headed and respectful. When Ronin or Broxigar would say something, he would actually take it into consideration, seeing as to how both of them have fought the Burning Legion before and their experience could be used to their advantage. This was more than what many of the other Night Elves would have done. The Night Elves at the time were incredibly racist, and for Ravencrest to allow both a human and an orc to fight amongst their ranks in addition to lending him their advice, it really meant a lot. A direct quote from the book said that the Night Elves viewed all other races that were not of Night Elven nature to be barely a step above vermin. So you might want to keep that in mind. Be that as it may though, Ravencrest, although he respected Brox and Ronin, he still refused to ask any other races like the Tauren or Dwarves for aid against the Legion, and he did not take this into consideration whatsoever whenever somebody brought it up. So on and on they march to Zin-Azshari until a scout returns to Ravencrest and tells him of some refugees trying to escape from a group of demons that were attacking them. This group of demons didn't even come close to comparing with Ravencrest and his army that he had right now, so he agreed to fight them and help the refugees, seeing it as a chance to help his people and a chance at an easy victory to boost morale. But one thing happened that no one counted on. Archimonde had arrived on Azeroth, and this small group of demons that chased the refugees had been bait. Upon entering combat, the Night Elves were flanked on nearly all sides. Infernals came raining from the skies, decimating the Night Elven lines, sending bodies flying. Eredar warlocks who were concealed by the clouds began raining spells down on the defenders. Things were just really out of control. Finally, the call was made to retreat, and the demons would continue to pursue the Night Elves, pushing them all the way to Mount Hyjal. This was days of just non-stop fighting, non-stop dying, and all the while the defenders, they fought. They fought and they died. However, after days of being pushed back, Crassus, Ronin, Illidan, and Malfurion managed to conjure a set of spells which, when worked in unison with each other, had devastating results. They managed to push the demons back and drive them into a full-on retreat, ending the battle which had costed the lives of many Night Elves. Now, sometime after this defeat on the Legion's part, Azshara takes a walk with Captain Varothan, her most trusted captain, who would do anything to please her and make sure that she is happy. She then tells him of a man who was displeasing her, how he sought to ruin their plans and even prevent Sargeras' arrival to their world, so she wished him dead. And without hesitation, Captain Varothan obeyed. He saluted her and ordered some of his soldiers to meld into the Night Elven Defenders' lines and assassinate Lord Kur'talos Ravencrest. Time passes again, and in the next battle, the Night Elves meet the demons on the way to Zinajari, but it turns out to be a stalemate. With the tide constantly shifting back and forth, demons pushing forward and the defenders being chased back, and vice versa. It's just pure anarchy. And it's during this time that Broxigar sees Lord Ravencrest fighting. Broxigar takes this time to observe him. He watches how quick and agile Kur'talos fights. He thinks to himself that whereas initially he had little to no respect for the Night Elves at all, just seeing Lord Ravencrest, a commander, the supreme commander of the entire Kaldari resistance, fighting with such skill and unafraid of risking his own life by being in the midst of battle, Broxigar begins actually to admire him, even thinking to himself that Ravencrest was such a good warrior that he could have been born an orc. In addition to this, surrounding Night Elves near him rallied to him. The faces of the soldiers who fought in Kur'talos' presence were determined and they were proud, and Lord Ravencrest, just by fighting near them, literally strengthened them. However, with so many soldiers fighting near him, Broxigar noted one soldier who each time he swung a little too close to Lord Ravencrest. Broxigar immediately became alerted. He tried to make his way to Kur'talos, but the tide of the battle pushed him the other way. He tried to shout out Kur'talos' name, but screams, blades, and death drowned him out. However, just when he caught the attention of Kur'talos, the assassin lunged at the commander and drove a dagger into the back of the commander's neck. Lord Ravencrest spasmed and shuddered, and then he fell forward. The Night Elves around him suddenly were alerted, but they were still confused. They did not know who struck their lord down, but Broxigar did. Broxigar chased down the assassin, engaged him in single combat, traded blows with him, wounded him, and as Brox was about to deal the killing blow, the assassin screamed, "For Ajara!" before Brox managed to cut him down. Soon after, the battle ends. The demons were pushed back due to a storm Malfurion conjured, leaving the Night Elves to recover. Another victory had been won, but at the cost of so many Night Elves, including their supreme commander. Now, I am going to go into this battle on another much more detailed video, but for now just know that this battle, the battle that Ravencrest died in, was the battle that Archimonde had nearly won by flanking the entire army, killing many defenders. This battle was the battle that Neltharion had arrived in and had unleashed the Dragon Soul on the demons, Night Elves, and the dragons. This battle was also the battle where Tyrande was captured by the Burning Legion, making Malfurion so angry and sad that he conjured up a storm that nearly killed and drowned all of the Night Elves and demons on the battlefield. Out of all of these events, however, the Night Elves saw Kur'talos' death as the most disheartening. For them, the rest of these tragic events paled in comparison to the noble's death. But anyways guys, that's it to the video. Thank you so much for watching. As I said in the video itself, a much more detailed video describing this incredibly epic and intense battle will be published in the future. But for now guys, I hope you all learned a little something about Lord Ravencrest. If you have any more topics you wish for me to discuss, please post it down below so I can get some ideas into what videos you guys want me to do. But for now guys, have a good one and I'll see you later.